In our modern lives, we are constantly bombarded with messages that promise happiness through material possessions, instant gratification, and the validation of others. Yet, these very pursuits often leave us feeling empty, dissatisfied, and trapped in a cycle of unfulfilled desires. The ancient Greek philosophy of Stoicism offers a refreshingly different perspective, one that teaches us to find contentment, resilience, and true freedom by eliminating certain harmful habits and thought patterns from our lives. Through the wise teachings of Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, we learn that excessive materialism, negative emotions, complaining, seeking approval, procrastination, rumination, envy, arrogance, and indulgence in fleeting pleasures are obstacles that prevent us from living a life of virtue, wisdom, and inner peace. In this video, we will embark on a transformative journey, exploring each of these 9 things in depth and uncovering practical strategies inspired by Stoic wisdom to eliminate them from our lives. By embracing the timeless principles of self-discipline, mindfulness, gratitude, and focusing on what is within our control, we can cultivate a life of purpose, authenticity, and profound fulfillment. Join me as we unlock the profound insights of Stoicism and discover a path towards true freedom, contentment, and a life well lived, a life shaped not by external circumstances but by the strength and virtue of our character. Let us begin this journey towards a more meaningful, resilient, and enlightened existence, guided by the enduring wisdom of the ancient Stoics. The first thing we should eliminate from our lives, according to the principles of Stoicism, is excess materialism and consumerism. The Stoics believed in living a simple life, free from the burden of accumulating unnecessary possessions and indulging in excessive consumption. As the Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca famously said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This quote highlights the core Stoic belief that true wealth and contentment do not lie in material possessions but in the simplicity and self-sufficiency of one's life. In our modern consumer-driven society, we are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us to buy more, acquire more, and consume more. Advertisements and social media influencers prey on our insecurities and desires, convincing us that the latest products, gadgets, or fashion trends will bring us happiness and fulfillment. However, this pursuit of material possessions is often a never-ending cycle that leads to dissatisfaction, debt, and a constant craving for more. The Stoics understood that true happiness and contentment come from within, not from external sources. They believed that by cultivating virtue, self-discipline, and a detachment from material possessions, we could find inner peace and freedom from the chains of desire and greed. Epictetus, another renowned Stoic philosopher, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This quote encapsulates the Stoic approach to living a minimalist lifestyle, where one's happiness is not dependent on the accumulation of material goods but on the simplicity and contentment of one's desires. Excess materialism and consumerism not only harm our personal well-being but also have devastating consequences for the environment. The constant production and disposal of goods contribute to the depletion of natural resources, pollution, and the generation of excessive waste. By embracing a more minimalist lifestyle, we can reduce our environmental impact and live in harmony with nature, which was a core value in Stoic philosophy. So, how can we practically eliminate excess materialism and consumerism from our lives? Here are some suggestions inspired by Stoic teachings. 1. Practice mindful consumption. Before making a purchase, ask yourself if you truly need the item or if you are being influenced by external forces, such as advertising or social pressure. 2. Declutter and simplify. Go through your possessions and donate or discard items that you no longer need or use. Embrace the Stoic principle of living with only what is necessary. 3. Cultivate gratitude. Instead of constantly desiring more, take a moment to appreciate what you already have. Gratitude can help you find contentment in the present moment. 4. Invest in experiences over possessions. Rather than spending money on material goods, invest in experiences that enrich your life, such as travel, education, or quality time with loved ones. 5. Embrace minimalism. Adopt a minimalist lifestyle by consciously reducing your consumption and focusing on what truly brings you joy and fulfillment. By eliminating excess materialism and consumerism from our lives, as encouraged by the Stoics, we can find true freedom, contentment, and a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. Remember the words of Seneca, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Let us strive to live with simplicity, gratitude, and a focus on what truly matters. The second thing we should eliminate from our lives, according to the teachings of Stoicism, is negative emotions. The Stoics emphasize the importance of controlling our emotions and not allowing negative emotions like anger, fear, and jealousy to dictate our actions or thoughts. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This powerful quote highlights the Stoic belief that our emotions are not caused by external events themselves, but by the judgments and interpretations we make about those events. The Stoics understood that negative emotions can cloud our judgment, impair our decision-making abilities, and lead us to act in irrational or harmful ways. Anger, for example, can cause us to say or do things that we later regret, damaging relationships and creating unnecessary conflict. Fear can paralyze us and prevent us from taking necessary risks or pursuing our goals. Jealousy and envy can breed resentment and undermine our personal growth and contentment. However, the Stoics did not advocate for the complete suppression of emotions. They recognized that emotions are a natural part of the human experience and that some emotions, like love and compassion, can be beneficial and virtuous. The key was to cultivate the ability to manage and regulate our emotions, rather than letting them control us. Epictetus, another renowned Stoic philosopher, said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the principles and notions which they form concerning things." This quote emphasizes the idea that our emotions are often the result of our own thoughts and interpretations, rather than external circumstances themselves. So, how can we practically eliminate negative emotions from our lives, as the Stoics advocated? Here are some suggestions inspired by Stoic teachings. 1. Practice mindfulness. Cultivate the ability to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. By becoming aware of your emotional patterns, you can begin to understand and regulate them more effectively. 2. Challenge irrational thoughts. When you find yourself experiencing a negative emotion, take a step back and examine the thoughts or beliefs that are fueling that emotion. Are they rational and based in reality, or are they distorted or exaggerated? 3. Reframe situations. Rather than reacting impulsively to a situation, take a moment to reframe it in a more objective and rational light. This can help you respond with greater clarity and wisdom. 4. Embrace acceptance. There are many things in life that are beyond our control. By accepting what we cannot change and focusing our energy on what we can control, we can reduce the impact of negative emotions. 5. Cultivate gratitude. Practicing gratitude can help shift our perspective away from negative emotions and towards a more positive and appreciative mindset. 6. Seek wisdom and self-awareness. The Stoics believed that true wisdom and self-awareness were essential for managing emotions effectively. By continuously working on personal growth and self-understanding, we can better navigate the emotional landscape of our lives. Eliminating negative emotions from our lives is not about suppressing or denying our feelings, but rather about developing the ability to observe and regulate them in a healthy and constructive manner. As Epictetus said, it is not events that disturb people, but the judgments they form about them. By embracing the Stoic principles of mindfulness, rationality, and self-control, we can cultivate emotional resilience and live with greater peace and equanimity. The third thing we should eliminate from our lives, as taught by the Stoics, is complaining and blaming. The Stoics believed in taking full responsibility for one's actions and circumstances, rather than complaining or blaming others for one's situation. Epictetus, the famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote encapsulates the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control and not allowing external events or circumstances to dictate our emotional state or behavior. Complaining and blaming are often natural human tendencies, but they are ultimately counterproductive and harmful. When we complain, we are dwelling on negative aspects of a situation that we cannot change, which only serves to perpetuate our dissatisfaction and negative mindset. Additionally, complaining can be draining and off-putting for those around us, potentially damaging relationships and creating an unpleasant environment. Similarly, when we blame others for our problems or setbacks, we are abdicating responsibility for our own lives and choices. By placing the blame on external factors or people, we disempower ourselves and fail to take the necessary steps to improve our circumstances or learn from our mistakes. The Stoics taught that true personal growth and wisdom come from taking ownership of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Only by acknowledging our role in shaping our circumstances can we make meaningful changes and cultivate resilience in the face of adversity. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." This quote highlights the importance of pausing and reflecting before reacting impulsively with complaints or blame. By taking a moment to step back and consider our response, we can respond more thoughtfully and constructively. So, how can we practically eliminate complaining and blaming from our lives, as the Stoics advised? Here are some suggestions. 1. Practice gratitude. Rather than focusing on what is lacking or going wrong, make a conscious effort to cultivate gratitude for the positive aspects of your life. This shift in perspective can help reduce the tendency to complain. 2. Reframe challenges as opportunities. When faced with difficulties or setbacks, instead of complaining or blaming, reframe the situation as an opportunity for growth, learning, or personal development. 3. Take responsibility. If you find yourself blaming others, take a step back and examine your own role in the situation. What choices or actions did you take that contributed to the outcome? Taking responsibility empowers you to make positive changes. 4. Seek solutions. Instead of complaining about a problem, direct your energy toward finding constructive solutions. Engage in problem solving and take action to improve the situation. 5. Practice self-reflection. Regularly take time for self-reflection and introspection. This can help you identify patterns of complaining or blaming and work on breaking those habits. 6. Surround yourself with positive influences. Seek out individuals and environments that foster a positive, solution-oriented mindset, rather than those that enable or encourage complaining and blame. By eliminating complaining and blaming from our lives, as the Stoics advocated, we can cultivate a more empowered and resilient mindset. We can take ownership of our circumstances and focus our energy on what is within our control, rather than dwelling on external factors that we cannot change. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." By choosing to respond with responsibility and resilience, rather than complaints and blame, we can shape our lives in a more positive and fulfilling direction. The fourth thing we should eliminate from our lives, according to the teachings of Stoicism, is seeking approval and validation from others. The Stoics encouraged self-reliance, independence, and finding contentment and validation within oneself, rather than constantly seeking external affirmation. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, advised, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." This quote suggests that our desire for approval and validation often stems from an exaggerated fear or imagination, rather than an actual threat or harm. In our modern society, the pursuit of approval and validation from others has become a pervasive and often damaging pursuit. We seek likes and comments on social media posts, we strive for recognition and praise from our peers and superiors, and we often base our self-worth on the opinions and judgments of others. However, the Stoics understood that this constant desire for external validation is not only unfulfilling but also detrimental to our personal growth and inner peace. When we rely too heavily on the opinions of others, we diminish our ability to think and act independently, and we become vulnerable to the ever-changing tides of societal approval. Epictetus, another renowned Stoic philosopher, said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This quote highlights the Stoic belief that true personal growth often requires the courage to go against societal norms and conventions, without seeking the approval or validation of others. So, how can we practically eliminate the need for approval and validation from our lives, as the Stoics advocated? Here are some suggestions. 1. Cultivate self-acceptance. Work on accepting yourself for who you are, flaws and all. Recognize that your worth is inherent and not dependent on the opinions of others. 2. Develop self-confidence. Build confidence in your abilities, values, and decision-making skills. Trust in your own judgment and don't allow others' opinions to shake your self-assurance. 3. Embrace authenticity. Be true to yourself and your values, even if it means going against societal norms or expectations. The Stoics valued living in alignment with one's principles. 4. Practice mindfulness. By being present and focused on the moment, you can reduce the tendency to seek external validation and approval. 5. surround yourself with supportive people. While seeking approval from others is discouraged, it's still valuable to have a supportive network of friends and loved ones who appreciate you for who you are. 6. Pursue intrinsic motivations. Rather than seeking external validation, focus on pursuing activities and goals that are intrinsically rewarding and meaningful to you. By eliminating the need for approval and validation from others, as the Stoics taught, we can cultivate a deeper sense of self-acceptance, authenticity, and inner strength. We can break free from the chains of societal expectations and live in alignment with our own values and principles. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Instead of seeking validation from others, the Stoics encouraged us to focus our efforts on embodying the virtues and principles that we value most, without concern for external approval or recognition. Ultimately, by embracing the Stoic teachings on avoiding the pursuit of approval and validation, we can find true freedom, self-reliance, and contentment within ourselves. The fifth thing we should eliminate from our lives, according to the teachings of Stoicism, is procrastination and laziness. The Stoics valued discipline, hard work, and making the most of one's time and opportunities. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote reminds us that while we cannot control external circumstances, we have the power to control our thoughts and actions, including our ability to overcome procrastination and laziness. Procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing tasks or responsibilities, often due to a lack of motivation, fear of failure, or a misguided belief that we will be more productive or focused at a later time. However, this tendency to procrastinate often leads to unnecessary stress, missed deadlines, and a general sense of underachievement. Laziness, on the other hand, refers to a lack of effort or inclination to work or be productive. It can stem from various factors, such as complacency, lack of purpose, or a misguided belief that one is entitled to a life of leisure without effort. Both procrastination and laziness are antithetical to the Stoic principles of self-discipline, hard work, and making the most of one's time and opportunities. The Stoics believe that by cultivating virtue and living in alignment with reason and nature, we could achieve a sense of purpose and fulfillment in our lives. Epictetus, another renowned Stoic philosopher, said, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a figure. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen." This quote reminds us that true accomplishments and personal growth require patience, persistence, and a willingness to put in the effort over time, rather than expecting immediate results or succumbing to procrastination or laziness. So, how can we practically eliminate procrastination and laziness from our lives, as the Stoics advocated? Here are some suggestions. 1. Identify your motivations. Reflect on your goals and the reasons behind your desire to achieve them. This sense of purpose can help overcome procrastination and laziness. 2. Break tasks into smaller steps. Daunting tasks often lead to procrastination. By breaking them down into smaller, more manageable steps, you can make progress more easily. 3. Develop routines and habits. Establishing routines and habits can help cultivate discipline and productivity, making it easier to avoid procrastination and laziness. 4. Practice self-accountability. Set deadlines and hold yourself accountable for meeting them. Consider sharing your goals with others to increase your sense of responsibility. 5. Eliminate distractions. Identify and remove potential distractions that contribute to procrastination or laziness, such as social media, television, or clutter in your workspace. 6. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and celebrate your progress, no matter how small. This positive reinforcement can help maintain motivation and momentum. By eliminating procrastination and laziness from our lives, as the Stoics encouraged, we can cultivate a sense of purpose, discipline, and productivity. We can make the most of our time and opportunities, and ultimately achieve a greater sense of fulfillment and personal growth. As Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, said, "Life is long if you know how to use it." By embracing the Stoic principles of self-discipline, hard work, and making the most of our time, we can truly make the most of the precious gift of life. The sixth thing we should eliminate from our lives, according to the teachings of Stoicism, is rumination and excessive worry. The Stoics advocated for living in the present moment and not dwelling on the past or worrying excessively about the future. Epictetus, the famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not events themselves that disturb people, but the judgments they form about them." This quote highlights the Stoic belief that our emotional distress often stems from the way we perceive and interpret events, rather than the events themselves. Rumination is the repetitive and obsessive dwelling on past events, mistakes, or perceived failures. It involves replaying negative experiences or thoughts over and over again in our minds, often accompanied by self-criticism and regret. While it's natural to reflect on past experiences to learn and grow, excessive rumination can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and a general sense of dissatisfaction with life. Worry, on the other hand, is the act of dwelling on potential future problems or negative outcomes. It involves anticipating and fixating on hypothetical scenarios that may or may not occur, often causing unnecessary stress and anxiety. While some degree of planning and preparation for the future is necessary, excessive worry can be paralyzing and prevent us from fully engaging with and enjoying the present moment. The Stoics recognize that rumination and worry are largely futile exercises that drain our energy and rob us of inner peace. They taught that true wisdom and contentment come from focusing on what is within our control in the present moment, rather than dwelling on the unchangeable past or the uncertain future. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, wrote, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." This quote reminds us that while external circumstances are ever-changing and often beyond our control, we have the power to shape our inner experience and quality of life by exercising control over our thoughts and perceptions. So, how can we practically eliminate rumination and worry from our lives, as the Stoics advocated? Here are some suggestions. 1. Practice mindfulness. Cultivate the ability to stay present and focused on the here and now. Techniques like meditation, deep breathing, and mindful observation can help anchor you in the present moment. 2. Reframe your perspective. When you find yourself ruminating or worrying, consciously reframe your perspective. Ask yourself if the thought is productive or within your control, and if not, gently redirect your attention to something more constructive. 3. Embrace acceptance. The Stoics taught that accepting what we cannot change is a key to inner peace. Instead of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, practice accepting the present moment as it is. 4. Engage in purposeful activities. When our minds are idle, they are more prone to rumination and worry. Engage in purposeful activities that fully occupy your attention and provide a sense of accomplishment or fulfillment. 5. Cultivate gratitude. Practicing gratitude can shift your focus away from negative thoughts and towards appreciating the positive aspects of your life in the present moment. 6. Seek wisdom and self-awareness. The Stoics believed that true wisdom and self-awareness were essential for managing one's thoughts and emotions effectively. Continuously work on personal growth and self-understanding to better navigate the traps of rumination and worry. By eliminating rumination and excessive worry from our lives, as the Stoics encouraged, we can cultivate a greater sense of inner peace, resilience, and presence. We can break free from the chains of regret and anxiety, and instead focus our energy on living fully and meaningfully in the present moment. As Epictetus said, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. By embracing the Stoic principles of mindfulness, acceptance, and focusing on what is within our control, we can find true freedom and contentment, unencumbered by the weight of rumination and worry. The 7th thing we should eliminate from our lives, according to the teachings of Stoicism, is envy and jealousy. The Stoics believed in being content with one's circumstances and not envying or feeling jealous of others' possessions or achievements. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Envy is the most stupid of vices, for it makes us dislike those who have been successful in the pursuit of virtue." This quote highlights the Stoic belief that envy and jealousy are not only harmful to oneself but also counterproductive to personal growth and the cultivation of virtues. Envy is the resentful or covetous desire for others' advantages, possessions, or qualities. It often arises from a sense of inadequacy or a belief that one is entitled to what others have. Jealousy, on the other hand, is a feeling of resentment or insecurity towards someone who may be seen as a rival or threat, particularly in the context of relationships or achievements. Both envy and jealousy are rooted in negative emotions and a scarcity mindset, which can lead to a spiral of resentment, bitterness, and even hostility towards others. These emotions not only poison our inner peace and well-being but can also strain our relationships and inhibit our ability to appreciate and celebrate the successes of others. The Stoics understood that true contentment and fulfillment come from within, not from comparing oneself to others or coveting what they have. They taught that by cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, one could achieve a sense of inner peace and satisfaction, regardless of external circumstances or possessions. Epictetus, another renowned Stoic philosopher, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This quote emphasizes the Stoic belief that true wealth lies in the simplicity and contentment of one's desires, rather than the accumulation of material possessions or the envy of others' wealth. So, how can we practically eliminate envy and jealousy from our lives, as the Stoics advocated? Here are some suggestions. 1. Cultivate gratitude. Instead of focusing on what others have, practice gratitude for the blessings and opportunities in your own life. This shift in perspective can help reduce feelings of envy and jealousy. 2. Celebrate the success of others. rather than resenting the achievements of others. Make a conscious effort to genuinely celebrate and appreciate their successes. This not only fosters positivity but also creates a supportive environment for personal growth. 3. Focus on your own path. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus your energy and attention on your own goals, values, and personal growth journey. Embrace the unique path that is right for you. 4. Practice self-acceptance. Work on accepting yourself, your circumstances, and your journey, without comparing or envying others. Recognize that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external validation or possessions. 5. Surround yourself with positive influences. Seek out individuals and environments that foster a mindset of abundance, support, and positivity, rather than those that enable or encourage envy and jealousy. 6. Embrace humility and wisdom. The Stoics valued humility and the pursuit of wisdom over material possessions or societal status. Cultivate these virtues to transcend feelings of envy and jealousy. By eliminating envy and jealousy from our lives, as the Stoics encouraged, we can cultivate a sense of contentment, inner peace, and genuine appreciation for the successes and virtues of others. We can break free from the chains of comparison and scarcity mindset, and instead focus our energy on personal growth, gratitude, and the pursuit of wisdom and virtue. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, wrote, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." By choosing to embrace contentment and gratitude, rather than envy and jealousy, we can shape our thoughts and experiences in a more positive and fulfilling direction. The 8th thing we should eliminate from our lives, according to the teachings of Stoicism, is arrogance and an inflated ego. The Stoics emphasized humility, modesty, and treating others with respect and kindness. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, advised, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This quote suggests that rather than responding to arrogance or harm with arrogance of our own, we should take the high road and exhibit virtues that are in direct contrast to such negative behaviors. Arrogance is an excessive and overbearing sense of one's own importance, superiority, or abilities. It often manifests as a dismissive or condescending attitude towards others, coupled with an unwillingness to listen or consider alternative perspectives. Ego, on the other hand, refers to an inflated sense of self-importance and a preoccupation with one's own needs, desires, and accomplishments, often at the expense of others. Both arrogance and ego are antithetical to the Stoic principles of humility, wisdom, and virtue. The Stoics believed that true greatness and fulfillment came not from external validation or self-aggrandizement, but from cultivating inner qualities such as self-awareness, self-discipline, and a commitment to living in accordance with reason and nature. Epictetus, another renowned Stoic philosopher, said, "It is impossible for a person to begin to learn what he thinks he already knows." This quote highlights the importance of humility and an openness to learning and personal growth, which can be hindered by arrogance and an inflated ego. So, how can we practically eliminate arrogance and ego from our lives, as the Stoics advocated? Here are some suggestions. 1. Practice self-awareness. Cultivate the ability to objectively observe your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Recognize when arrogance or ego is influencing your actions or decision-making processes. 2. Embrace humility. Acknowledge that there is always more to learn and that your knowledge and abilities are limited. Approach situations and interactions with an open and humble mindset, rather than a sense of superiority. 3. Seek wisdom and self-improvement. Instead of resting on your laurels or past accomplishments, continuously strive for personal growth and the acquisition of wisdom. The Stoics believed that true wisdom was a lifelong pursuit. 4. Practice active listening. Make a conscious effort to listen attentively to others, without interrupting or dismissing their perspectives. Seek to understand and learn from different viewpoints, rather than imposing your own beliefs or opinions. 5. Cultivate empathy and compassion. Rather than focusing solely on your own needs and desires, endeavor to understand and empathize with the experiences and perspectives of others. Treat everyone with kindness and respect, regardless of their status or position. 6. Surround yourself with honest feedback. Seek out individuals who will provide you with honest and constructive feedback, rather than surrounding yourself with those who merely validate your ego or reinforce your arrogance. By eliminating arrogance and ego from our lives, as the Stoics encouraged, we can cultivate a sense of humility, wisdom, and genuine connection with others. We can break free from the chains of self-importance and instead focus our energy on personal growth, empathy, and the pursuit of virtue. As Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient, for he that is so wants nothing." By embracing the Stoic principles of humility, contentment, and living in the present moment, we can transcend the trappings of arrogance and ego, and find true fulfillment and inner peace. The ninth and final thing we should eliminate from our lives, according to the teachings of Stoicism, is excessive indulgence and hedonism. The Stoics believed in moderation and avoiding excessive indulgence in pleasures or vices that could lead to imbalance or harm. Epictetus, the famous Stoic philosopher, said, "If you desire what others have, you will lose your equanimity of mind." This quote highlights the Stoic belief that excessive desire and indulgence can lead to a state of inner turmoil, dissatisfaction, and a lack of tranquility. Hedonism refers to the pursuit of pleasure and sensual indulgence as the highest good or end in life. While the Stoics did not condemn pleasure entirely, they cautioned against excessive indulgence and the prioritization of fleeting pleasures over virtue and reason. Excessive indulgence can manifest in various forms, such as overeating, substance abuse, compulsive shopping, or obsessive pursuit of physical or material pleasures. These behaviors not only have negative consequences for one's health, finances, and relationships, but can also lead to a state of dependency, addiction, and a loss of self-control. The Stoics believed that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external pleasures or indulgences, but from cultivating inner virtues such as wisdom, temperance, courage, and justice. They taught that by living in accordance with reason and nature, one could achieve a state of eudaimonia, or human flourishing, which transcends momentary pleasures and leads to a deeper sense of contentment and well-being. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This quote emphasizes the Stoic belief that true happiness is an inner state, influenced by our thoughts, beliefs, and actions, rather than external pleasures or indulgences. So, how can we practically eliminate excessive indulgence and hedonism from our lives, as the Stoics advocated? Here are some suggestions. 1. Practice moderation. Cultivate the ability to enjoy pleasures and indulgences in moderation, without allowing them to become excessive or compulsive. The Stoics valued balance and self-control. 2. Develop self-awareness. Be mindful of your motivations and tendencies towards excessive indulgence. Recognize when you are engaging in behaviors or pursuits that may be harmful or imbalanced. 3. Prioritize virtue and reason. Make a conscious effort to prioritize the cultivation of virtues such as wisdom, temperance, and self-discipline over fleeting pleasures or indulgences. 4. Seek fulfillment in meaningful pursuits. Instead of deriving fulfillment from external pleasures, engage in activities and pursuits that align with your values, contribute to personal growth, and have a positive impact on others. 5. Surround yourself with supportive influences. Seek out individuals and environments that foster moderation, self-discipline, and a balanced approach to life, rather than those that enable or encourage excessive indulgence. 6. Embrace simplicity. Cultivate a lifestyle of simplicity and contentment, focusing on what is truly essential and meaningful, rather than being driven by constant desire for more pleasure or indulgence. By eliminating excessive indulgence and hedonism from our lives, as the Stoics encouraged, we can cultivate a sense of balance, self-control, and inner peace. We can break free from the chains of compulsive pleasures and instead focus our energy on the pursuit of virtue, wisdom, and the cultivation of a life well lived. As Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." By embracing the Stoic principles of moderation, self-discipline, and living in the present moment, we can transcend the trappings of excessive indulgence and hedonism, and find true fulfillment and contentment within ourselves.